For years, I found comfort in a particular seat position. It felt natural, familiar, even soothing. Falling asleep came easily, and I never gave it much thought. But everything changed during a routine checkup. My doctor looked me straight in the eye and said something that froze me in place. If you keep sleeping like this, you could have a stroke in your sleep, and you wouldn't even know it until it was too late. That sentence shook me. Like many others, I paid close attention to my diet, my blood pressure, my sugar levels, but never once considered that the way I lay in bed each night might put my life at risk. What I discovered next changed everything. The position you sleep in doesn't just influence comfort. It can make the difference between peaceful rest and a medical emergency. Bad sleep posture can quietly steal years from your life. And the most concerning part, right now, countless people over 60 are unknowingly sleeping in a way that, according to several medical studies, significantly increases their risk of stroke. Not out of neglect, not out of laziness, simply because no one ever warned them. Today, you'll finally get that warning. You'll discover the sleep position that's most dangerous to your brain, why it causes harm, and most importantly, how to fix it without sacrificing sleep quality. We'll also cover who is at the highest risk, what morning symptoms to look out for, and which bedtime habits either protect or endanger your brain. This isn't just about comfort. It's about survival, especially if you ever dealt with high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, or cardiovascular issues. If you're over 60, what you're about to learn is even more urgent. But before we continue, let me know in the comments, how old are you, and where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. When it comes to brain health, most people focus on food, exercise, or medication. But there's another powerful and often forgotten factor, the way you sleep. Science has shown it's not just about how long you sleep, it's also about how you sleep. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience Nursing found that people who sleep with their necks twisted or torsos compressed experience reduced blood flow to the brain. This leads to silent, repetitive micro-injuries, tiny strokes that may go unnoticed, but slowly impact memory, clarity, and brain function over time. The National Institute on Aging backed this up with brain scans. They observed that people with poor sleep posture had more lesions in their brain tissue, even if they didn't show any symptoms yet. These are the silent scars left behind by low oxygen levels during the night. So yes, hours matter, but so does quality. And within quality, posture is key. There are also warning signs your body may give you in the morning: a dull headache or neck tightness, fatigue even after sleeping 7 or 8 hours, feeling dizzy or unfocused upon waking, vision that takes a moment to adjust, numbness in arms or legs, a sense that your brain is foggy or slower than usual. These aren't just random symptoms. They could be your body quietly waving a red flag, a subtle sign that something went wrong during the night, something your brain tried to survive, but shouldn't have had to. At your next doctor's visit, these are the questions worth asking. Could my sleep position be affecting my blood pressure or circulation? Are my morning headaches linked to how I sleep? Based on my health history, what's the best sleep posture for me? Should I get a sleep study to rule out apnea or micro-awakenings? Sometimes one small adjustment, like switching your pillow or changing your sleep side, can make a massive difference. Because when we sleep poorly, we don't just wake up tired. We slowly chip away at the health of our most vital organ, the brain. We often treat sleep like a passive act, just something we fall into when the day is done. But the truth is, sleep is one of the most active processes your body goes through. While you lie still, your heart recalibrates, your brain flushes out toxins, your tissues repair, your memories reorganize, your body literally resets. But here's the catch. If you place your body in the wrong position, if you cut off the flow of blood or oxygen, even slightly, even silently, that process gets interrupted, and over time, it stops healing and starts harming. That's why sleep isn't just rest, it's protection, it's prevention, it's a quiet investment in your future. Don't wait until the symptoms scream. Don't wait until the fog sets in, or your balance slips, or your words come out wrong. Start with one small shift tonight. Sleep on your left side, get the right pillow, turn off the screens, drink a little water, breathe slower. Give your brain the space and the position it needs to keep you alive and clear. because your body speaks, even when you sleep. And every morning is a chance to listen better. So now I ask you, do you sleep on your stomach? Will you change that tonight? Your story might just help someone else change theirs. Drop your answer in the comments. Let's wake up together, wiser, stronger, and safer. Thank you for being here. Take care of your body, and may your next sleep truly restore you. We'll see each other in the next video. And I hope, when that time comes, you'll be sleeping and living better than ever. A stroke is one of the most terrifying and silent emergencies you can face. It doesn't knock, it doesn't warn you. It can strike while you're asleep, sitting quietly, even while chatting with someone you love. And in just a few seconds, it can alter your life forever. But what exactly is a stroke? In simple terms, it's when the blood flow to your brain is interrupted, and that's a big deal. Because your brain relies on a steady supply of oxygen and nutrients every single second. Cut that supply off, even briefly, and parts of your brain start to die. There are two main types of strokes, and both are dangerous. The first and most common is called an ischemic stroke. It happens when a blood clot blocks the brain artery. Imagine someone stepping on a garden hose, the water can't flow. That's what happens to your blood. Then there's the hemorrhagic stroke. Less common, but far deadlier. In this case, a blood vessel inside the brain bursts and starts bleeding. That leaked blood damages nearby brain tissue fast. And here's the terrifying part. Most people have no idea it's coming, especially older adults. They might just feel unusually tired, or wake up with a dull headache and brush it off. But inside, something serious is already happening. After the age of 60, your risk of stroke rises dramatically. It's not just a number, it's biology. As we grow older, our arteries stiffen, our blood pressure shifts more easily. And if you're living with conditions like diabetes or high cholesterol, the odds climb even higher. Now imagine this. Those already vulnerable blood vessels compressed for hours every night by how you sleep. That's not just uncomfortable, that's dangerous. According to the World Health Organization, over 15 million people worldwide suffer a stroke every year. Around 5 million of them die. Another 5 million are left with permanent disabilities, trouble speaking, moving, remembering, or even doing basic daily tasks. This isn't rare. It's not something that only happens to someone else. It's closer than we think, especially as we age. Let me tell you about Alberto. He was 76, healthy for his age. He walked every morning, ate relatively well, and had no serious diagnoses. One day, he woke up with numbness on the left side of his body. His speech was slurred, his vision blurred. His wife thought maybe he just slept wrong, but the truth was far more serious. By the time they got to the hospital, doctors confirmed it, an ischemic stroke. A blood clot had silently formed during the night. Alberto survived, but life was never the same. He lost mobility. He now needs help getting dressed, making meals, and sometimes, even remembering what day it is. And here's the lesson. A stroke doesn't always happen to the sick or the weak. It doesn't wait for a bad day. It can come for anyone, even while you sleep. Many people think of sleep as a passive act, something simple like flipping a switch and drifting off. But the truth is, while you sleep, your body is anything but inactive. Your heart keeps beating, your brain keeps working, and perhaps most importantly, your blood keeps circulating, non-stop. That's where sleep posture becomes critical. The way you position your body at night can either support or restrict that vital circulation, especially to your brain. When blood flow is compromised, oxygen levels drop, arteries become compressed, veins struggle to carry blood back to the heart, and your brain, that delicate oxygen-hungry organ, begins to suffer in silence. Take your neck for example. Imagine sleeping for hours with your head twisted to the side in an unnatural angle. That can compress the carotid artery, one of the main highways delivering blood to your brain. When that happens, circulation slows, oxygen delivery drops, and certain regions of the brain may receive less than they need. Do that night after night, and the damage starts to add up. It's not just the neck. If your chest is compressed or your spine is misaligned, it can affect how you breathe. That leads to shallower breaths, less oxygen in the blood, and more strain on the heart, all while you're supposed to be resting. And for older adults whose blood vessels may already be narrowed or fragile, these compressions are even more risky. In fact, studies have confirmed this. One research paper published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that specific sleep positions were linked to lower oxygen saturation levels during the night. Another, from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, showed that older adults with sleep apnea or poor posture had a significantly higher risk of what they called silent microstrokes, tiny, unnoticed injuries to the brain. You don't need to have a medical condition for this to happen. A poor sleep position can be the quiet trigger behind a much larger problem, and most people have no idea. So, which sleep position is the most dangerous for your brain? The answer might surprise you, because it's also one of the most common, especially among older adults. It's sleeping on your stomach. Yes, that position many people find comfortable, the one they use for years to fall asleep faster, could quietly be harming their brain every night. Here's why. When you sleep on your stomach, your neck is forced to twist sharply to one side, often for hours without moving. That unnatural angle compresses both the carotid and vertebral arteries, which are essential for delivering blood to the brain. At the same time, your head is pressed into the pillow, adding more pressure. The result? Blood struggles to flow freely. Oxygen delivery is reduced, and over time, this nightly stress can increase the risk of a stroke. But that's not all. Sleeping on your stomach also compresses the chest, making it harder to breathe deeply. Your lungs can't expand fully, your breath becomes shallow, and your heart has to work harder just to maintain basic oxygen levels. If you already have high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, or cardiovascular conditions, this can be the perfect storm. Let me share a real story. Don Mazzallo was 78. A widower, he lived alone and had a simple, quiet life. He ate early, watched the evening news, and went to bed, always sleeping on his stomach with a large pillow. He said it was the only way he could relax. But one morning, his neighbor found him sitting in a chair, disoriented. He couldn't speak clearly, he couldn't stand up. At first they thought maybe it was just low blood pressure, but the truth was more serious. At the hospital, doctors confirmed he'd had a minor stroke in his sleep. They explained it wasn't just his age or untreated high blood pressure, it was the position he'd been sleeping in. That night, his brain hadn't received enough blood for several hours. That was all it took. Marcelo survived. But he was left with speech problems and had to move in with family, no longer able to live on his own. And this isn't a rare story. Many older adults still sleep on their stomachs every night, unaware of the risk. Not everyone who sleeps this way will suffer a stroke, but if you already have other risk factors, this position could be the final push towards something tragic and completely avoidable. Sleep should be healing, not harmful, and changing how you sleep might feel strange at first, but it could save your life. We've talked about the most dangerous sleep position, lying on your stomach. But what about the other ones? Are they all safe? Not exactly. Let's start with sleeping on your back. In theory, it's one of the most neutral positions. Your spine stays aligned, your joints are relaxed, and your neck isn't twisted. But for many older adults, it comes with hidden problems. If you snore, or if you suffer from sleep apnea, this position can make things worse. When you lie on your back, your tongue, and the soft tissues in your throat tend to fall backward, partially blocking your airway. That's when the snoring begins. Or worse, your breathing may pause completely for a few seconds at a time. Each time this happens, your brain is briefly starved of oxygen. And even if you don't remember waking up, your body does. Your heart rate spikes, your brain gets disrupted, and this stress repeated night after night can increase the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and, yes, stroke. Now, if you're someone who sleeps with your head propped up on 2 or 3 pillows, thinking it'll help you breathe better, be careful. Lifting the head too much forces the neck forward. This bends the arteries in your neck and may reduce blood flow to your brain. A pillow that's too high can be just as harmful as one that's too flat. Let's move on to a better option, sleeping on your left side. Many doctors, neurologists, and physiotherapists agree. This is one of the healthiest sleep positions. It helps your body in several ways. It improves digestion, it reduces acid reflux, it allows the heart to pump more efficiently. And most importantly, it supports better blood flow to the brain. That said, even this position isn't perfect if your pillow doesn't support your neck properly. If the pillow is too low, Your head tilts downward, too high, and it bends upward unnaturally. Either way, your neck is strained and the arteries can still be compressed. Also, watch how you place your arms and legs. Sleeping with one arm under your body or crossing one leg over the other can cut off circulation and cause numbness or tingling. What about sleeping on your right side? It's generally okay, but if you have high blood pressure or heart issues, it might not be ideal. This position can slightly increase pressure on the chest and affect your heart rhythm during sleep. And remember, many of us change positions multiple times during the night. So what matters most is how you start sleeping, and whether your sleep setup helps keep your body aligned through the night. In short, sleeping on your back is neutral, but risky if you snore or raise your head too high. Sleeping on your left side has the most health benefits, but only if your pillow and posture are right. Sleeping on your right side is fine for most, but not if you have certain health conditions. Sleeping on your stomach is the one to avoid, especially if you're over 60 or have blood circulation issues. Not everybody reacts the same way. Some people sleep badly for years with no major consequences. Others, one night of poor circulation is enough to change everything. So who's most at risk when it comes to sleeping in the wrong position? First and foremost, anyone over the age of 60. As we age, our bodies go through subtle but powerful changes. Our arteries become less elastic, our circulation slows. The heart works harder to maintain the same flow it once managed with ease. Even something as simple as turning your neck awkwardly in your sleep can reduce blood flow to the brain, without you even knowing it. The danger may not come in one night, but it builds, quietly, cumulatively. The second high-risk group, people with high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol. These conditions don't just affect how you feel during the day. They silently damage the blood vessels, making them narrower, more fragile, and less responsive. So when someone with these conditions sleeps in a way that compresses or bends those vessels further, the risk doesn't just add up, it multiplies. In a healthy person, restricted blood flow during sleep might be uncomfortable. In someone with hypertension or poor circulation, it could be the start of a silent brain injury, a microstroke, that leaves no obvious symptoms until it's too late. Then there's a third group few people talk about, those who sleep less than 6 hours a night. Short sleep isn't just tiring, it spikes blood pressure, it disrupts heart rhythms, it lowers the body's ability to oxygenate the brain. Now, imagine all of that, on top of a poor sleep posture. That's a double threat. Let me give you an example. Lucia was 69. She had high blood pressure since her 50s, but led a calm, balanced life. She didn't smoke, went for walks, and ate very well. But she had one habit she never questioned. She always slept on her stomach, with a thick pillow under her chest and her neck twisted to the side. She said it helped her fall asleep faster. And for years, she did it without problems. Until one night, she woke up with a splitting headache. Her vision blurred. One arm felt numb. At the hospital, the diagnosis was clear. A minor stroke, triggered during sleep. According to her neurologist, her blood pressure had spiked overnight, and her twisted neck posture likely restricted blood flow to part of her brain. The result? A small but dangerous brain injury. Luckily, she recovered. But it was a wake-up call. Lucia had to relearn how to sleep. She switched to a side sleeping position, got a better pillow, practiced relaxation techniques before bed. It wasn't easy at first, but over time, she began to sleep more deeply, wake up clearer, and feel safer. And that's the lesson. Small nightly habits, repeated again and again, can become big health risks. What once felt harmless at a different age or stage of life can suddenly turn dangerous. Your body is always speaking to you. Even while you sleep, it tries to warn you when something's not right. But most of us aren't listening. We wake up with subtle symptoms and dismiss them. We blame stress. We blame age. We say, maybe I just slept funny. But sometimes those little signs are early alarms from your brain. One of the most common and most ignored is waking up with a headache. Not the pounding, intense kind, but a dull, persistent pressure, like something is squeezing your head from the inside. Many people chalk it up to tension, a bad pillow, or dehydration. And yes, it could be any of those things. But it could also mean that your brain didn't get enough oxygen while you slept. If that headache shows up often, especially combined with neck stiffness or numbness in your arm or leg, it's time to take it seriously. Another overlooked warning sign: waking up exhausted, even after a full night of sleep. You went to bed early. You stayed in bed for 7 to 8 hours. But when morning comes, you feel like you never slept at all. Like your body ran a marathon while your eyes were closed. That kind of fatigue often points to poor sleep quality. And yes, sleep posture plays a role. If your circulation was restricted, if your breathing was shallow, if you kept shifting unknowingly due to discomfort, then your brain may never have reached deep restorative sleep. And without deep sleep, your body doesn't recover. Then there are the more serious signs: blurry vision when you open your eyes, feeling off balance when you stand, difficulty focusing or thinking clearly right after waking up. These symptoms may fade within minutes, but they could signal that your brain experienced a brief disruption in blood flow, what doctors call a transient ischemic attack, or mini stroke. You don't need a full-blown stroke to suffer damage. These small, silent events can accumulate over time. They can quietly impair memory, coordination, even personality, long before a major medical emergency strikes. Have you ever woken up and felt off, like your body wasn't fully responding, like your brain was slow to boot up? Don't ignore that feeling. That's your body whispering, something's wrong. And if you listen early enough, you might prevent something much worse. So how do you sleep in a way that truly protects your brain? Not just to feel rested, but to lower your risk of stroke, support your heart, and wake up with clarity, not confusion. Let's break it down step by step. First, the best position: sleeping on your left side. This is the posture most recommended by neurologists, cardiologists, and sleep therapists. Why? Because it improves circulation. It helps your heart pump more efficiently, it reduces pressure on vital organs like the liver, and it supports brain detox and lymphatic drainage, a key function that happens mostly at night. It also helps reduce acid reflux, another common issue that interrupts sleep, especially in older adults. But it's not enough to simply lie on your left side. Details matter. Start with the pillow. Your head should stay in line with your spine, not tilted up or down. Too high, and you're bending the neck. Too low, and you're compressing the arteries. You need a pillow that fills the space between your shoulder and ear, keeping your neck supported in a straight, neutral position. Next, add a pillow between your knees. It may seem like a small detail, but it makes a big difference. This keeps your hips aligned, relieves pressure in the lower back, and prevents your body from twisting during the night. It also improves blood return to the heart, helping circulation stay smooth while you sleep. Then check the room temperature. Too high or too cold can ruin your sleep quality. The ideal range: between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius, 64 to 68 degrees Celsius. A cool, dark, and quiet environment helps your body stay in deep, restorative sleep longer. Pay attention to how you position your arms. Avoid tucking them under your body or between your legs. That can pinch nerves and cut off blood flow, causing numbness or tingling. Instead, keep your hands relaxed, either at your sides or gently resting in front of you. Lastly, consider your back posture. Even when you sleep on your side, make sure your back isn't too curled up or overly stretched. A medium firm mattress that supports your body without sinking is ideal. It should hold your spine in a natural curve, not a rigid line, and not a sag. Let me tell you about Rosa. She was 72, sharp, active, full of life. But every morning, she felt drained, her neck ached, her mind felt foggy. She forgot little things, like where she put her keys or what she went to the kitchen for. For decades, she slept on her stomach. She never questioned it. But after attending a health workshop, she made a change. She got a new pillow, started sleeping on her left side, used a knee pillow, and adjusted the temperature in her bedroom. At first it was tough. She tossed and turned. She missed the familiarity of her old position. But after 3 weeks, she started waking up clear, pain-free, and mentally sharp. She felt more herself, more present, more alive. And that's the power of posture, not just for comfort, but for long-term brain health. Good sleep isn't just about posture. It's also about the habits that lead up to it. The small, often unnoticed routines that silently shape how your body rests, recovers, or breaks down. Let's start with the major one: eating too late, especially salty meals. When you eat close to bedtime, your digestive system keeps working long after your head hits the pillow. This keeps your body alert, raises your heart rate, and if the meal was high in sodium, it can elevate your blood pressure overnight. High nighttime blood pressure is a dangerous trigger. It doesn't always give warning signs, but it raises your risk of stroke, especially when paired with poor sleep posture or underlying conditions. The solution? Finish dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before bed, and go for light, low-sodium meals like steamed vegetables, grilled white fish, or a small bowl of brown rice. Another hidden danger? Going to bed with a racing mind. Stress, anxiety, and overthinking don't just rob you of peace. They raise cortisol, your body's main stress hormone. Too much cortisol at night interferes with sleep cycles, increases heart rate, and leaves your nervous system on high alert. And when your body can't fully relax, your brain doesn't either. That's why it's crucial to create a bedtime ritual, something gentle and grounding. A warm shower, a slow stretch, writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Even a few minutes of deep breathing can shift your nervous system into rest mode. Now let's talk about one of the most underestimated sleep disruptors: screens. Phones, tablets, TVs. They all emit blue light. And that light suppresses melatonin, the hormone that helps you fall and stay asleep. Worse, the content we consume, news, messages, videos, keeps our brains buzzing. This overstimulation makes it harder to wind down, and more likely that your sleep will be shallow, fragmented, or delayed. If you can, shut down all screens at least 1 hour before bed. Let your mind soften before your body does. Now here's one you might not expect. Not drinking enough water. Many older adults avoid water before bed to prevent nighttime trips to the bathroom. It makes sense. But going to sleep, even mildly dehydrated, thickens your blood. That makes it harder to circulate and raises the risk of clots, especially during long, still hours of sleep. The fix: just half a glass of water, about an hour before bed. It's enough to stay hydrated without overwhelming your bladder. And finally, a big one: sleeping pills without guidance. Many older adults turn to medication when sleep becomes difficult. But not all pills are created equal. Some can drop your blood pressure too quickly, others can alter your heart rhythm or create long-term dependence. If you struggle to sleep, talk to a doctor before reaching for a bottle. There are safer ways to rest, and better ways to protect your brain. Let me introduce Thomas. He was 74, with a long history of high blood pressure. He took his medication faithfully, but still felt unsteady in the mornings. His nights were restless. His mornings brought headaches. He thought it was just age catching up, but then he made a few small changes. He started eating earlier. He lowered salt. He powered down his phone after dinner. He did light stretches before bed. And every night, he wrote down 3 positive moments from his day. Within weeks, his blood pressure dropped, naturally. His doctor even reduced his medication. And Thomas, he felt clearer, stronger, calmer. That's the power of intentional sleep.